Mariner fans. Happy Monday. We are coming at you. What'd you say it was, Evan? Episode 29?
Yeah, that's correct.
So get this, Mariner fans. We are 13 games away from the end of the season. We are 4 games back from the wild card. And according to ESPN, we have a 0.7% chance of making the playoffs. Now, I asked my colleagues here, Chris Soba, Evan Barron, and Chris Weifel, is 0.7% better than 0%?
I'm not a mathematician.
Not a trick question.
I'm not a mathematician, but numbers say numbers don't lie. I'd say 0.7 is about 0.7 better than 0.
Okay. Well, that's what we're working with here. We're coming off a week, kind of a disappointing performance from who did we play before the Royals?
We played the Red Sox.
It was only the biggest series of the season, Max.
And I myself went to the game on this past Tuesday, and I will admit, guys, I went with a group of friends, 5 or 6 folks, and the atmosphere was a little bit more electric than one. It was surprisingly electric, but it always could have used more fans. But I remember leaving the stadium, and around I think the 7th inning is when that 6-run inning that they put up. I will admit I booed the Mariners on the way out. I was that mad. And I think
it's a Mets fan, man. Come on.
Don't be a Mets. Oh, Mets fan. Yeah. I mean, I had a few beers in me, and I just was angry and I was passionate. And we've talked about this on the podcast so many times. And next year is supposedly supposed to be our year. In 2023, we're supposed to win the World Series, but to be this close and not have any yield or reward, it's incredibly frustrating. And I'm sure you guys feel the same way, but we're in a new week. What are you guys feeling?
Well, what do you mean we don't have any reward? I mean, we're at 80 wins right now with 13 games left in the season. We were predicted to win 74 games? Was it even 74 games we were predicted to win? This season's already been a W within itself. And this month in general, September, has been very productive for one individual specifically, Jared Kelenic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was looking, Joe Doyle tweeted out Jared Kelenick's gains in September. We're not talking about his weightlifting gains either. We're talking about his baseball gains here, ladies and gentlemen. Batting average has gone up 25 points. His on-base percentage has gone up 19 points. Slugging percentage has climbed all the way to has climbed 73 points. And his OPS has climbed 93 points. And so September slash line, 276, 333, 672. So those are some positive numbers to see young, struggling Jared Kelenic get out of that struggling hole. And dude, the guy's had he's had 5 homers in the last 8 games, and he's had 8 home runs in his first 72 games. And so everything is picking up a lot right now for homeboy Jared Kelenic. Love to see that. It's absolutely massive for the development throughout the rest of this year for him to continue getting at bats, then going into next year and coming out strong. And so that there's wins if we look for him. There's not your wins in your specific, we're not going. Odds are we're probably not going to the playoffs. 0.7% chance, right? But
I'm no mathematician, but
I'm no mathematician.
Well, I have a 1% chance to win my fantasy game this week. I need a 45 pointer from my boy Lamar Jackson, but it's not.
I want to focus on that.
Already.
I know, so that's our chance.
I want to dog ear that. Am I saying that right? Yeah, I think I am. I want to dog ear that Jared Kelenic conversation really quickly while we're on the early going of this episode. Do we have any feelings to share about the Seahawks loss today?
I am now a 49ers fan. Fuck the Sea Chickens. No, man, that shit sucked, dude.
Yeah,
that was terrible. We had 6 points in the second half. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Our offense shut down, and Zweifel's face says a lot right now.
It's because I blame myself for a lot of this stuff. It's I'm so superstitious
Yeah.
now because I made a $30 bet before the game. It's 30-14, and I'm like, pay up.
Yeah.
Hit him with the old.
Was the bet with an individual or with the betting website?
No, with an individual, and I'm just talking.
So you're just talking shit to him then.
And then they go 17 unanswered, and we lose.
Yeah.
And then same thing happened with fantasy football. I was up big, and then I just get run out of town. It's like, dude, this is. And I'll be honest about the Mariners. Didn't watch the last two games. I was pretty disgusted after the Red Sox series. I mean, it was right there for us.
Yeah.
And then the other day at work, I did catch Yusei's performance against.
Wrong time to tune back in, man. Come on.
Yeah, and that's
wrong time.
That's another thing is I wasn't watching, and then I tune in, and Yusei, two innings and a third, and he has 69 pitches, and he's doing that nibbling crap, and I'm like, dude. Throw the ball over the plate. I'm so sick of watching.
When you say nibbling crap, do you mean trying to just paint the outside edge?
Yeah, dude. Honestly, it doesn't have to be a perfect 97-mile-an-hour fastball that's right on the edge. Dude, bring it in a little bit, and you don't want to throw it in right down the middle. But I mean, you're not painting the corners. You're getting down 3-1, and then you're wondering why you have to throw a fastball down the middle, and then they're crushing you. Yeah. And you're walking people, and you're just not being efficient on the mound. And what do we talk about? We talk about controlling the zone. So he's really not a pitcher that fits into our mold. Look what Tyler Anderson does. He has worse stuff, and he throws strikes.
Right.
Marco Gonzalez in his resurgence after the All-Star game, and it's been what we've seen from Marco throughout his career. He throws strikes, and he actually can paint the corner. So Marco can afford to get away with that. You say. Stop nibbling, dude. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just, I have a bad attitude right now.
No.
It's okay.
It's understandable.
That's okay. It is. And Max, what you were talking about your game when you went against the Red Sox, my game when I went against the Red Sox, that was when we lost in extra innings.
Yeah.
And they scored 6 runs in the top of the 10th, dude. And I was, of course, I was sitting around next to some Red Sox fans, and I was talking some good old fashioned smack talk.
Uh-huh.
And then we give up 6, and I ended up leaving. And as I'm leaving, I'm pretty much getting booed out of my own stadium.
No way.
And I'm just dude, this sucks. It was, but the thing is, we were 6 inches away from winning that game. Jared Koenig ripped a ball down that right field line. It was 6 inches foul.
Yeah.
We would have won the game, and we didn't. And Evan, you got something to say? What's on your mind?
Well, I just am curious because both of you guys went to the game, and usually in the past, when the Mariners, when the Red Sox have been good, there's been a lot of Red Sox fans. Did Mariners fans show up at these games, or was it more of a Red Sox? What would you say the percentage was for?
It wasn't for me, at least. It wasn't the case of the Toronto Blue Jays when they come to town. Everyone from Vancouver just comes down. There were a lot of Mariners fans for sure, but there were definitely a lot of Sox fans. And my trash talk to them would be kind of mocking them and being at some random time I'd be like, "Let's go Sox," and I'd get some Boston guy turn around and look up at me, and they saw that I was just mocking them, and that was my form of trash talk. I will say also, Red Sox fans, Chris, you talk a lot of trash to the opposing teams when I go to games with you. I worry for you if you were to talk trash to Red Sox fans, because I remember I went and sat down with Corey Brown really briefly in his seats, and a fight broke out, and this Sox fan was just throwing punches, and I didn't really think anything of it. When you see a fight at a baseball game, you're like, where's our sense of decency? But just watching this guy in his Red Sox jersey, I was like, this seems right. I'm oddly okay with this. Good for you for bringing that energy in here, but get your ass out of here. So that was my experience with the Sox fans. I don't know if Chris had a similar.
I didn't see no fights. I didn't see any fights, but it was funny. The guy in front of us was with his parents. He was a 28-year-old, and his parents like ended up talking smack, and then there were like another group of Red Sox fans in front of us. So the mom actually started like flipping us off. She took it really like to the next level, and then the other Red Sox fans in front of between us two parties, they started chirping back at the lady. She's like, hey, like, they're like, come on, you can't start like flipping people off. Like they're not like we weren't cursing or anything at them. We were basically just making fun of the kid for having his parents have to fight his fights.
And how old was this guy?
28, a year older than me, but it was all pretty friendly and whatnot. But she started flipping us off, and she had 2 broken wrists, which was kind of funny. Like she had 2 like not casts, but you know those black Velcro casts or whatever you put on an old person with like
it's
what's the word I'm looking for?
This is gonna drive me nuts. It's a black
cast like a Velcro.
Dude,
but
this is so bad. This is so embarrassing.
I started telling her like, oh, you got those casts on because you flipping people off so much. I don't know, probably wasn't that good, but I think it's good that, or I don't know. It's obviously a different vibe. I went on the day game, and the day games are just such a different vibe than a night game. Like the night game, you drink. I mean, I didn't really drink on the day games, but I don't know. It was brutal watching the boys lose that game, But I mean, it was good seeing us going to Kansas City today. Jake Bowers, he hit a 460-foot bomb.
Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't know Jake Bowers had 460 feet of home run in him. Honestly, I didn't think he had that power in him.
That was a sight to see. I did see that on the Mariners Instagram. I do want to quickly shout out Zach Hobbs for being Monday Mojo's biggest benefactor.
True.
Those seats are epic. I didn't go with Chris
amazing.
last Wednesday, but you're a hell of a guy and thoughtful. So thanks, Zach Hobbs. Heartbeat Hobbs.
Heartbeat Hobbs, baby. In other news, it's been a while since we had a question from the dugout, but we have a question from the dugout.
We have a question from the dugout.
We have a question from the dugout.
We all freak out.
From our YouTube, it's from our YouTube channel too, as well.
It is. It's from our YouTube channel. Zachary.
It's from a stranger.
Berry. Yeah, I guess.
Cool.
Zachary Berry. Zachary Berry asked the Monday Mojo crew, do you guys see Flexen being this good or even better next year, or should we expect to see some regression? Zweifel, I want to hear your thoughts first.
I mean, I think you'll pretty much see the same guy. I mean, he's had a phenomenal year. So even if we did see a little bit of regression, can you count on him being a top 3 guy in a rotation? Maybe somewhere around there. I think he's more of a 4 traditionally. I mean, but he does. It's like we were talking about earlier. He controls the zone. He pitches with a lot of confidence, and it seems like when he was on the mound every time, if you've been watching these Mariner games, you have a great feeling going into him. And I don't really know why he would make a big turn in the wrong direction. I don't foresee that. I'm just saying that his numbers have been so good this year that if he comes back next year and his numbers are slightly worse, you can call that regression. But I think we'll pretty much see the same pitcher. So
I don't know. I think Chris has potential to be Chris Flexen, that is.
Now we're talking 3 different versions.
I think he has potential to be our ace. I think he can outperform Marco. I think he certainly can outperform.
I don't see that.
I look. I was a pitcher for 50
Let me
years.
ask, Max,
and
do you want Chris Flexen to be our ace? Do you want that guy?
That would be a trash rotation.
That would be so bad. Chris Flexen is not going to be our ace. We're going to sign Max Scherzer.
The man is 12, the man is the only pitcher on our team that has more than 10 wins.
Yeah, I know, but
I did not hear it here first, Chris. I saw the passing article.
You saw the passing article?
You heard it from passing, and probably the same time I heard it.
You bet your ass. You bet your ass I did.
Well, look. I'm telling you, he's our only pitcher that is. I mean, Paul Sewald is behind him with 9 wins, right? And Chris Flexen is it seems as if he's the only one in our rotation that is out there for more than 5-6 innings each outing.
And don't get me wrong, I think he'll be a great usable starter. I mean, as a 4, I mean, I'm projecting us to go pick up a number 1 starter. So that just bumps Marco down to to 2, and I think
Yeah.
Gilbert's going to take a big step forward.
Yeah.
Maybe Flexen is our 3. 3
Okay,
or 4,
and
right around
I will.
there.
I will. Sorry to interrupt. I will
Very
admit.
good.
I think talking about him being our ace was a little bit much.
That was such a stupid comment.
Dude, it wasn't stupid. I'm genuinely excited about him. I think
am I.
he's
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he's a
I'm sorry.
solid addition to our rotation. And quite honestly,
He is.
when he starts a game, I am much more calm and like expect a decent outing. Right.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah, and I mean it's with him. It's like his benefit to the team is his consistency. We haven't seen a whole lot of just like, I don't think we really know. We haven't seen it since Felix. Like a guy, we don't really know or remember what like a shutdown ace is like.
Yeah,
but a shutdown ace feels like a Felix that goes out there and takes the ball and goes 8 innings and gives up 1 run and strikes out 10.
Right.
And you're not getting that from Chris Flexen. You're getting 6 solid innings, maybe 2 runs. And it feels good, and that's a quality start in the MLB, and that's a good pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's our 3, that'd be great. But it's like we can talk about Max Scherzer. I think we are going to go get a big name like that. That would be a good guy to bet. That would be a great guy to bet on.
That would be so.
We've talked about Kevin Gausman.
I will jump into the Puget Sound if we get Max Scherzer this winter. I will go in the middle of winter. I will go into the Puget Sound boxers only. I'm not going to skinny dip in it because that's just crazy. But I will jump. I will
what
cannonball.
difference does a piece of fabric?
We just don't want to see. We don't want to see.
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe
it'll be cold. It'll be cold for sure.
It will be cold. It will be cold. And I will jump into the Puget Sound if we sign Max Scherzer. You heard it here first.
I mean, we only gave my take on the Chris Flexen, and I guess Max put his. Max thinks he's going to be
I'm excited about him. And to answer Zachary, what's his name?
Zachary
Berry. Thank you for asking this question. We've been starving for a question for months.
Well, Soba, did you answer the question?
No, but my answer is I don't. It's tough to say that he's gonna be better,
right,
than he has been this year because he's been so good this year. And I mean, in 2019, he only pitched 13 innings, and he had a 6.59 ERA. And
different guy. I wouldn't even look at that.
Exactly. And so like that's before he went to Korea. I don't have his stats of when he was playing in Korea, but he obviously did somewhat pretty well. And then here this year, I mean, over 162 innings with a 3.66 ERA. That's just really good for what he's been in the past and for what he is now. And so I say it's pretty tough to not see a little bit of regression, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just he's been so dominant this year from what we've expected from him. His ceiling was the bar we had set for him was so low that it was very easy for him to pass. And so now the bar is going to be higher, which is going to be higher for him to reach. You know what I'm saying there?
Right.
But at the end of the day, I do love having him in the pitching rotation. And number 3 or number 4 is where he fits best.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think to sum it all up, I'm just glad to have him on the squad. And I don't predict any regression from Chris Flexen. What I was going to say earlier, I was a pitcher for 15 years, the glory days. Order.
What was that?
And as a pitcher, right? I mean, in baseball, you kind of are the star of the show. And you talk about you talk about Chris Flexen. I look at them and when they're in lousy, shitty situations, they get inside their own head and it's very visible, right? So number one, when you get in your own head as a pitcher, you're going to do worse, right? You're aligning yourself or setting yourself up for more frustration. And then the other team sees it, and that's pretty much the end of it, right? Like as soon as the other team sees that they're getting to you, like they're going to have a heyday.
It's over. Yeah.
Yeah. And Chris Flexen, I think he's a phenomenal pitcher. He has great stuff and he's consistent, but like, if I could change one thing about Chris Flexen and if we can expect any sort of regression or flaw from him, it would be kind of just his own mental breakdown kind of situation. And you say the same, right? Like,
You don't like his demeanor on the mound?
I love his demeanor on the mound. I think
Yeah.
his emotion, you got to be able to show that emotion. That's when Yusei was his best, when he was showing emotion, and now he just timid.
I agree with Yusei. Yusei is, I think he's kind of a mental midget, but I was gonna say the exact opposite. I mean, just to,
is that PC to say? We're gonna run with it.
I don't know. I said it, but
he said it before,
dude. Yeah, I say it a lot.
Anyway, yeah.
But Marco and Flexen, I think, have, and I like Gilbert's demeanor on the mound too. And it's like what you're talking about, but I like Flexen's demeanor on the mound.
I didn't know. I mean, it's like whenever I see Yusei or Chris Flexen in lousy situations, they're just yelling at themselves and they're angry. Like, I'm all for like striking out someone with the bases loaded and getting out of a jam and like pounding the glove, right?
So I want no emotion in that situation.
Oh, that is kind of savage. Actually, that'd be kind of cool.
Well, no, you want emotion there. I'm kidding.
No, well, even still, like walking off the mound and just kind of like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen.
I'd be so mad.
But
everyone gets themselves going differently. So it's like we were talking about that Fultonevich dude who sucks, but he's like, a ground ball gets through the infield and he's like cursing himself. And, you know, we made fun of it, but in all reality, he's a pro, and that's probably how he gets fired up. And Flexen is the same way. It's he expects a lot out of himself, and if he gives up a hit, he's almost, you know, he's visibly upset. But I think it's how he gets fired up. I don't see it as like a, you know, Eeyore type thing.
Yeah,
like,
right.
It's just like, come on, man, you're better than that. Let's go.
I hear that.
I love the Winnie the Pooh reference.
Yeah.
Anyways,
wasn't that on another episode?
Yeah, that
wasn't another episode. But we had
the Pooh, and I was like, Christopher Robin. And you're like, you don't know who Christopher Robin is? I'm like, no.
Which one of you assholes was it? That
was Zweifel. Zweifel was
Christopher Robin, and I was like, who's that? I was just messing with him, and he's like, you know who Christopher Robin is? I'm like, no. He's like, wait, who ever heard of it? I'm like, no.
Anyways, in other news, I want to give Monday Mojo some credit, because when we had Jason Churchill on Monday Mojo, this was a month and a half ago now, when we had Churchill on. I don't know, maybe it wasn't that long, but at least a month ago, at least.
Okay.
And we asked Jason Churchill if he that we had an insider knowledge that the 2023 MLB All-Star Game was coming to T-Mobile Park. Jason Churchill said he had heard nothing about it, but we reported that it potentially was going to be coming to T-Mobile Park. Lo and behold, this last week, it gets announced that the MLB All-Star Game in 2023 is coming back home to Seattle. The last time it was in Seattle was the year of 2001.
Beautiful year.
We had 116 wins. The last year we went to the playoffs. All right, Max, bring that in. But that was the last time we made the playoffs, and it's coming back. And so hopefully we make it next year. But you guys, thoughts on that? I mean, I'm very excited to. We're definitely going. We have to.
My dad took me, and I'm sure he's going to be watching the YouTube of this. My dad took me to the All-Star Game in 2001, and we left in the third inning or fourth inning because I had a migraine. And I missed. I was a first grader, and I missed Cal Ripken's home run, and it was pretty brutal. But I don't know. Maybe I can reconcile with myself and go the full All-Star Game. I mean, it's fun. But those are my thoughts. But
how much of it do you really remember? You were there for 4 innings, and you're in first grade.
Well, I remember it. Like, it just was, the vibe was electric. Everyone was goofing around. It was, but you know, I certainly didn't have any alcohol in my system, and I might change it up a little bit if I do go. But we're going this year. We're going to the Futures Game. We're going to the Home Run Derby. We're going to the whole enchilada, baby. Is that what I signed up for?
That's what you signed up for.
I don't remember signing up for anything, but
yeah. Well, yeah, there was no contract in signing up for Monday Mojo. Maybe we should
there's a verbal
team.
Contract.
Yeah.
You want me to write you up a legal contract?
Yeah. But here's what I'll say about the All-Star. Here's what I'll say about the All-Star Game. I think it's fun, but let's not it's fun to talk about, it's fun to have and whatnot, but like all I'm focused on is a playoff win, right? Not to mention like making it to the playoffs, but going to the playoffs, and an All-Star game doesn't necessarily do that, but it is exciting.
Well, for me, it's about that representation of the last time we had the All-Star game. We made the playoffs. So
yes,
are we going to miss the playoffs in 2022 and then go back in 2023?
Hell no. We're making the playoffs next year. I am going to put money on us making the playoffs next year with Vegas, with whatever, but there's no way we miss the playoffs next year. I feel like all the other teams are going to regress in our division. The Astros, the A's. What do you mean?
What? The Astros aren't going anywhere, man.
Correa's going somewhere. It ain't going to be with Houston. Their farm league is nowhere near as good as ours, and that goes the exact same for the A's. I mean, the A's are never going to spend money, and
the Rangers are already in rebuild mode.
The Rangers aren't even in rebuild mode yet. They're still in trying to rebuild mode. They suck. They really suck. And then the Angels, I mean, if they don't, I don't know what's going on with Trout. He just keeps getting injured. But yeah. I look at it. It seems to be the Mariners are the ones that are for the next 2, 3, 4 years are best set to really compete at a consistent basis. I feel like.
I mean, like while I agree, I think the Astros aren't going to be bad next year, and I think I would put the Astros in the playoffs next year. And I mean, we haven't seen it yet from the Angels, but if they add a little bit of pitching, they have Rendon, Ohtani, and Trout. That's one of the best middle of the orders in the league. So,
right.
And I'm not counting on the Angels to do anything. I think we'll be better than the Angels, but I mean, I think it's going to be a tough division next year, regardless. And before I'm putting them in the playoffs, a team that hasn't been there in 20 years, and it's probably going to be 21 years. I need to see what we add. And I know we're all very bullish that they're going to add some big pieces, but I need to see what those pieces are before I'm doing anything like that. But I mean, I'm optimistic, but
I mean, at this point, right. And this is kind of a thought that's formulating in my brain as we speak, but I mean, do you see Jerry Dipoto even considering drafting someone that wouldn't be effective at all? That would just be counterintuitive.
Drafting or trading for?
Or I'm sorry, trading.
Do we see Jerry Dipoto trade for somebody who wouldn't be effective? Is that what you just asked?
To Zweifel's point, it's like we got to see who what pieces we add, and it begs the question: what pieces do we need?
We need an infielder. We need pitching.
Pitcher. We need a starting pitcher. Julio's going to come up. I don't mind Churchill's idea of adding a Charlie Blackmon that's a veteran player, but we can't go through a big cold streak of like a Kelnick or Lewis has been hurt. I think you add a guy like that. We definitely. I think Seager's probably gone, so we need an infielder. Wow. And I think we retain most of our bullpen. I think we need a catcher. I think Tom Murphy.
We need Cal Raleigh.
You can't have Tom Murphy on a playoff. That's so funny.
I like Tom Murphy, but he's not a playoff baseball player.
You know what we saw? You know what we saw from Tom Murphy the other day? We saw Tom Murphy catch a ball off a bounce and tag a runner out at home. Jeez, My God, I think that's the first time I've seen it all day here.
That's some MLB shit, dude.
I honestly believe when I texted the group chat the other day because we saw one get dropped again before that happened. And I go, I'm not being facetious here at all. Have we caught one damn ball on a bounce to home plate? And I don't think we have.
Yeah,
we just did. Yes,
except that one.
Yes,
good. It's the middle of September. We got one.
Do you guys remember when Luis Torrens was also catching? It's like,
oh God,
like it.
I not a catcher. Whatever.
I totally agree. I think catcher is our number one priority, and that's my own opinion. Because Cal Raleigh is a fun idea, but he hasn't produced. But it brings back to the point I wanted to bring up about Jared Kelnick. Do you think we're seeing more productivity out of Jared Kelnick now versus earlier in the season when we brought him up because of the lack of I guess you can call it. No. The lack of reps that he got from the minor leagues, not doing anything.
It's not necessarily the lack of reps, dude. Everybody needs to understand the difference of talent that comes from being in the minor. It's in AAA and in the majors. Somebody on Jason Churchill's podcast, I was listening to it, and he goes, "Man, I recommend you go and spend the $30 to get like the nicest seats at a AAA park. Go see the Rainiers and watch the pitchers. Watch the balls coming into the strike zone and the amount of break on breaking balls and bite on fastballs, and then try and do that and go to and if you have the money, I guess, for this, which when you try and sit in like a really good seat and see the pitchers do it in the MLB, the difference of talent is crazy. And so it's going to take time for anybody making that jump to adjust. And Jared's had a little bit more time than Cal Raleigh. And so he's a little bit ahead of Cal Raleigh. And that's why you see him having a pretty monster September. Cal Raleigh, I mean, you give him a few months up into next year, I think he'll be fine. I mean, he showed that he was like Jared. He was able to dominate at the AAA level, at every level in the minors. And you're going to have your setbacks. But with the reps that you can continue to take in the MLB and see these big league pitchers and get used to it, it's going to get better.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yeah. And it's just funny. For a while there, we forgot about how excited we were to have Jared Kelenic on the team. Remember, like in the early goings of the podcast episodes that, we put out, we were like, bring up Jared Kelenic. Where the hell is Jared Kelenic? And then he shows up and, hits $150 for a while. And then we're kind of like, well,
he was at like 92. He was at like 0.92 at one point. It was so bad. It was so bad. Speak real quick. Speaking of, my buddy was Ryan Maloney was telling me the story back in the day when Mike Blowers was on the team and he was like really shitty at this point in time. The sluggers would do Mike Blowers shots night. And so like whatever his batting average would be the price of a shot. And so I wish that sluggers would come back out with that. That was just little fun fact.
We got to get Mike Blowers on the show, man. That guy's all time.
Yeah, I want to say something about Kelenic real quick, just to kind of build off what Chris was saying. You're also seeing him because when he first got called up, he was really struggling with the off-speed pitch. But when you saw with the Royals in that first series, those 2 home runs he had were all off-speed pitches that he smacked. And so you see that he's learning. And then me with work this week, we've been running a bunch of Mariners sound, and we ran one soundbite where Kelenic was talking about the big thing that I've learned as a big leaguer is to turn the page as fast as possible. And so, we were saying earlier this year he got sent down because he was getting frustrated. He was dropping F-bombs in the box, but I think now he's realizing that, you can't let your emotions get the best of you because you're just going to struggle. Totally. And so I think he is really locked in. Maybe it's something with working with Andy McKay too about, clearing your head in the box and all that. But I think I've noticed him to start to mature more. And the guy's only 21 years old too. So, I mean, he's still got a lot of potential, but I think you're seeing a lot of great signs going into next season for sure.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to what I was trying to say about Yusei and Chris Flexen on the mound, right? Like at the end of the day, you okay there, Chris? At the end of the day, getting inside your own head does affect your gameplay. And at least I know that from my experience, albeit not professional, but
albeit not past high school, but
oh, shut up.
You're talking like you're pitching in college, my guy.
He did pitch for the powerhouse Bishop Blanchette Braves that put out some big leaguers.
Yeah,
so
dude. I had an illustrious career as a teenager.
I just had to call you out.
Manager or teenager?
Teenager. I was a team.
Oh, I heard team manager.
No, team manager. I stopped playing. I stopped pitching when I was 19 years old. I actually did play for a select team when I was a freshman in college, and it was me, Jacob Place, and Corey Brown. And there was some loophole.
Bad news bears.
Yo, no, not even, dude. There was some loophole in the what was it? Not pony.
Pee-wee?
No, no, but there's some loophole about our ages, and we were only playing with 17-year-olds, and there's some loophole in the league rules where if your birthday falls on this and you're 19 years old, you can still play. So
I am
Corey,
12.
yeah, I am 12. We paid the umpires every game. Corey, Jacob, and I, and I wonder if any of my old teammates are listening to this podcast right now, but we were just 19-year-olds, and we we had some talent on the team and everything, but there were a few kids on that team that were just clowns. And we won some division championship that punched us the ticket for some tournament that was down in Compton, Los Angeles.
Oh, shit.
And we just got wrecked. But like, it was hilarious because a few of these kids, you look at them and be like, why the fuck are you on a baseball team? And we took them to some like really fun, or it was a team effort, of course. I'm not sitting here, but I was out there throwing gas and shutouts and whatnot. So
what was the fastest you reached?
The fastest I recorded myself was at Wazoo's baseball field, and it was 82.
Do you think you can still throw 82 today?
I think I can throw, if I got properly warmed up, I think I can throw like upper 70s.
So we got one more. We got to go to at least one more game together. And I bet
do
you
the speed pitch thing.
And I bet you.
I don't even know if that's accurate, man.
I bet you I can throw faster than you.
Oh, okay. That actually kind of okay. This actually kind of triggered me. I'm not a betting man, but I'll bet you $100 that I'll throw faster than you.
Really?
I mean, maybe, but like
you see my arm at third base, Max. You see my arm,
dude. That doesn't mean jack shit.
Well, I just never got a chance to really see your arm recently because every time a ball comes to you, it goes over your head.
or yeah, exactly. I misread it. I take that first step in as a center fielder. That's a big no.
Yeah. But no, let's we'll do that. They're coming back here soon, and I bet you I'll bet you $50 I can throw faster than you. I'm not putting 100 on it.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't. Moving on to what's next. We got a couple big series up against the A's. And if there's any time to show up and make a statement, it's these next couple weeks, this week in particular.
Oh, that already happened, man. Boston series already happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are such things as second chances sometimes.
What if the Seattle Mariners,
honestly, no, we would have to win
out 13 games in a row.
Yeah, we'd have to go like 11-2 and have some help.
Yeah.
It's not
I mean, anything is possible. Kevin Garnett said it first. Anything is possible.
Kevin, you said that earlier too. And where's Kevin Garnett now?
I couldn't tell you. Probably in Turks and Caicos, chilling, doing nothing.
Yeah, which he can do. But guess what? We can't do. We can't go on vacation.
No,
we're stuck with this team. I'm pissed off.
You have been more quiet this episode than previous. You are mad at our boys.
That's fine.
Yeah, I am
Get
too.
mad. Like, I am too. Yeah, like
macroscopically, good season. Microscopically,
right.
Where we were, and like I said, I said it a couple episodes ago when I was talking about being unbiased and holding people accountable. I think Scott Service had a great year macroscopically. Microscopically, that Boston series, there's absolutely no way 2-2 in the eighth. I don't care about the excuse of, well, we don't know how long the game's going to go, so we're going to keep Will Smith in there because he went 1-2-3.
Joe Smith.
Here, Will Smith.
Joe Smith. Joe Smith.
Yeah, whatever. Will Smith's the actor.
I'm not a big Joe Smith fan.
There's also
Will Smith. Yeah, I know. And I was thinking of him. Joe Smith. Who cares? He has a 5.7 ERA.
I know.
You want me to remember your name?
Yeah.
Get it right?
He has the easiest name to remember.
Doesn't matter.
Smith.
He's that bad.
The point is, boys, he has a 5.7 ERA, and we leave him in. And you know what happens when a reliever comes out of the pen? They throw an inning, and then they go back to the dugout and sit down. It's not the same pitcher that comes out for the next inning, unless he's really a stud. You go to Steckenrider there 10 out of 10 times. I do not want to hear, we don't know how long the game's going to go. It's the biggest game of the year in that situation. It's 2-2 in the eighth. We won the first game. You win the next game, and then you have all this momentum going in for the sweep tomorrow. You get things done in that moment. And it's like why I've given him credit in earlier series. He always puts the most out in the first couple games to get that win. Okay, well, that mentality needed to come into play here. You throw everything against the wall. It's not about looking down if this game goes into 12 innings. No, Steckenrider is the pitcher to go to there.
Right.
And when that happened, and then the door gets blown off, we lose 8-4. All momentum's lost. We come back the next day, and it's a close game into the 8th, and we blow it again. I mean, it's like series over, season over. Thank you. Good night.
I think that's it. I think we just found our teaser video for tomorrow when we advertise this episode. That was a good rant. Like Zweifel, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I am definitely not a Joe Smith fan because he's not clutch. And I think the way that
fine, it's just not in that situation. Like since he's come over, he's had a decent ERA. He's just not.
Dude, I don't even know about that, dude. Since he's come over, I can't remember. Like,
I
disagree with
something ERA when he came over, and now it's down to 5.79. So he's at least put up like a.
Why'd we acquire him in the first place then?
Well, he's
we just needed somebody else in the bullpen. We needed a guy that was going to be used in low leverage situations, and then we had a guy for high leverage.
Sure.
Yeah. He's supposed to be used in low leverage situations, and
it's times like this that make me miss Kendall Graveman.
Can I throw some fire on the service flame as well?
Sure.
I know we've already talked about Montero, and we've talked about how great of a job Service has done. But
I thought you were going to say Montero.
All those Montero blown saves are just coming back to just haunt us, and we knew they would. But like, think about if we wouldn't have had him on the team or had figured it out earlier that he sucked.
Yeah, and
like didn't blow any more games. Like let him blow 3 or 4 in the beginning because you didn't know, and then after that it's over. And then see you later.
Yeah, all of a sudden we're up by six or 7 wins. Yeah, I hear that
3 or 4 or whatever.
Well,
yeah, 6 or 7. That's a stretch.
Let's exaggerate a little bit.
We might be a game back in the wild card. Who knows? But we can't sit. I mean, we can't sit on that because I always hate it like when it is early in the season and you do lose some of those games that you should win because you're like, I know with this team that those games matter. Like that's gonna have repercussions way later on in the season that with us blowing this game in mid-April, in mid-September, we're gonna be wishing we won that game or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's fine if. Because it happens to every team. It's fine. Like earlier when we had Graveman and he went out there and he blew, because I think he blew 1 save with us. And when that happened, it's like you didn't see any texts going back and forth with us. Like, well, what did Graveman do?
Yeah, right.
Like it's like whatever that happens. But when a guy is bad, like you can tell he's a bad pitcher, and then he blows a game. It's like, dude, Service, what are you doing? But we can move on from that. I'm just
Well, for the most part, it's behind us, but I think you're right. It is kind of haunting us at this point in the season, down the home stretch, if you will.
What do you think? We think we got 8 more wins in us.
So, just for context, I did want to bring this up at the one of the first few episodes. Soba and I, before we made this Zweifel acquisition, we predicted. Chris Soba and Max Schwabe predicted 88 wins and 86 wins.
Chris Soba went 88, Max
respectively.
Schwabe went 86,
I was going to say respectively, and that would have been context. Let's hope that Chris's prediction is more accurate than mine, because at this point, that's what we need. But all the rest of the analysts out there, right? What did they say? They said, 74 or something?
Something in the low 70s, yeah.
And before we go into what's up next and picks to hit and wrap up, it is important to say that we have had a good season. It's been a bumpy ride, right? Like the wins that we've had weren't necessarily very beautiful or poetic, but that's what makes baseball poetic in a way. And Chris, I know you're a big fan of
sports in general are poetic.
So, at the end of the day, we should be grateful for what we've had this year, and we should be excited for next year and the year after. And that's really all you can ask for a toxic baseball team. Zweifel, why are you shaking your head?
Why are you shaking your head, Zweifel?
I agreed until you go, that's all you can ask for. No, it's not.
What else can we ask for?
I can ask for my team to win big games when they need to win big games.
Shit, you're right.
Yeah,
man.
but we just don't have the general talent to do that yet.
Yeah.
Well, we had a guy named Steckenrider in the bullpen 2-2.
Here we go.
You ain't wrong.
I'm done with that.
Another guy that we have, Arkansas, the Travelers. They just finished their season today, and Julio Rodriguez absolutely raked in the 46 AA games that he played. He had a 362 average, 11 doubles, 7 bombs, 26 ribbies, and an OPS of 1,007. It's pretty damn good. And so I'm really excited to see. I mean, I don't think that the Rainiers are done with their season yet. Are they? Are they? Maybe they're in playoffs. I don't know, but I'm just excited to see what he's coming up next year. There's no question about it. And so we got things to look forward to, man. We got things to look forward to.
We do. Looking forward. Speaking of looking forward, we're finishing out the season with 2 of our division rivals. The A's, the Angels, the A's, the Angels. And all that needs to be said about that is we just need to win. Anyway, you guys want to talk about picks to hit? Or?
No, yeah, we got to win. We got to. If we can win out, maybe I said this on last episode. The Mariners haven't had a long winning streak of over like 6 or 7 games. I think 7 is like the max that we've had in a row.
Yeah.
If we could get 13 in a row,
13.
If we can get 13, which would actually then be 14 because we won today.
Yeah.
So
We just got to double it.
We got to double it. So if we can get 14, ladies and gentlemen, we might be squeezing into that wild card spot. You know, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, and I don't see a fat lady yet. So that's that. But picks to hit. Evan Barron, surprise. Evan Barron won. Shut up, Max. Evan Barron won. He got Jared Kelenic, who I was going to pick, but he took him out from under me. And Kelenic had the best week of his young professional career. So, Evan, good for you.
I'll take another W and just stash it on my shelf. No big deal. But
you're running out of room over there on your winning shelf?
Yeah. But for this week for picks to hit, I will go with I'm gonna go JP Crawford this week. So that's my
any rhyme or reason for that?
Just thought I'd mix it up, you know. And didn't JP? He kind of had a decent week, so I have faith in JP, so I'm gonna go that route.
And then I think I got second place, and I don't even know who I had. Because, dude, it's crazy how like these weeks start feeling like so long ago. Like it feels like we haven't done a podcast episode in like 3 weeks, but realistically, it's been 6-7 days. But
long week.
It's been a long week, man, and that's what they do to you. But I'm taking Jared. I'm taking Jared Kelenic. I think he's going to continue having a great end of the season. So yeah.
I'll just assume I was in last place. So go ahead, Zweifel.
Well, you were in last place.
No, I don't even know who I picked.
I had Mitch Haniger. I think I got second, but you can have it, Silva. I got my boy Ty France on the board.
Oh, you got Ty.
I got Ty France. Gonna run him out there. Don't worry, Max. You got Seager there. You got Toro. You got Haniger. A lot of options.
Tom Murphy, Jake Bowers.
You know what? I'm gonna go Yusei Kikuchi. No, I think. Okay. Here's the deal. I'm going for a win this week, and the one and only win that I'm going to get this season, and it is going to be Abraham Toro.
Did you already? I think you got one win, man.
No, I don't like that we gave him a win. We picked the player for him.
We picked
the player that won.
No, yeah.
He's got an asterisk next to it.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't even have a victory on the board.
What, dude?
What?
You guys play the game, and
it'd be cooler if you ended
we play the same game.
It will be cool if you, without earning a win, we want him to get swept. A season-long sweep.
Well, okay. Well, you guys were
no. It's Abraham Toro. Pick his final answer.
All right.
Final
fine,
answer.
fine.
Slumdog.
But I'm just saying. I'm just saying, you guys are coming at me over the past weeks, being like every player you pick like ends up sucking that week, and I'm like, all right, well then why am I playing the game?
Well, I mean, we know you're not sitting over there with one of them dolls. What are those dolls called?
Never played with dolls.
No,
Yeah.
come on, man. It's like a voodoo
Jack in
doll.
the Box, a voodoo
No,
doll,
a voodoo doll. Yeah, where like people like poke them and bad things start happening to them.
You guys don't know what happens during my personal life off the podcast.
I bet you got voodoo dolls all up in your closet, you freaking weirdo, man.
I'm looking at yours
you got a voodoo,
right now.
I was about to say you got a voodoo doll of me.
How creepy would that be if he just pulls out 3 dolls and like, yeah, put me down?
That would be pretty freaking wild. I'm curious, do you guys see Machado and Tatis getting after it?
No,
They were
tell me about it.
They were absolutely just screaming at each other in the dugout. Machado was getting mad at Tatis because Tatis almost got himself ejected from the game for arguing a balls and strikes in like a very important part of the game against the Cardinals. And the cameras just got them screaming at each other. And I think Twitter overreacted with like saying like, oh, they're like in turmoil or shit. It's like, no, they're just showing, like, Machado's just showing that they obviously care. And like sometimes, people need to yell at each other on one team to let them know how they're feeling. It's just, heat of the moment. But yeah, I think I just thought some people on Twitter overreacted with that.
That's interesting. I mean, I will say, I think if I had a second favorite MLB team, it would be the San Diego Dads. And it's particularly because of those two players, Tatis and Machado. I think they're awesome. So that's a bummer to see. But, I mean, you can kind of look at, you think of the San Diego Padres as like our sister team, right? Like they're like our
we're the sister team.
Sure, fine, whatever. But oh shit, I lost my train of thought.
Something about Machado and Tatis, and you love the Padres. They're your second favorite team.
Oh yeah, they're in a similar situation as us, right? Like, so I can imagine tensions would be high, and Tatis, being the baseball god that he is, like, has certain standards, and he's got to be frustrated, and Machado's got to be frustrated too. The whole team's got. Because I looked at the standings. Their last 10 they're 2-8. So. Yeah. Like, that's not how you want to perform towards the end of the season when playoffs are on the line. So I think some steam blowing off is more than acceptable.
Damn, dude, they're 76 and 73 right now.
Yeah, I mean, think about the
we're 80 in 69. We're we're a little bit better than them right now. Granted, they are going against the two best teams in the MLB.
Yeah, exactly.
With the Giants and the Dodgers. And so that sucks for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. That's just the luck of the draw.
That's just the luck of the draw, baby. That's the luck of the draw.
Do we have anything else?
Hang in there, boys. Hang in there. It's been, ladies and gentlemen, hang in there. It's been a long season, as it always is. We got 13 games left, 2 weeks of baseball left. And I know for one, when the season is over, and if we do not go on this 13 game winning streak and we miss the playoffs, I will be sad and I will be missing baseball. Granted, we do have some new sports coming our way here in the Pacific Northwest with the Seattle Kraken. So that's going to be cracking. But let's go. Just hang in there, ladies and gentlemen. We got, like I said, 2 weeks left of baseball. Cheer on the boys. We have a road trip now. And then after that, it's a homestand. And I, for one, am excited to at least go to another game during the homestand. I'll probably go to one of the last two or three games when we play the Angels. Max and I will go, and we'll see me throw faster than him. It'll be very fun. And that's all I got.
So funny. It's not funny. I appreciate your sentiments, Chris. Zweifel and Evan, Chris Soba, Max Schwabi. We're coming at you, episode 29. We've got 2 more weeks left in the season. If you're listening to us, thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate your support. Drop us more questions. We like topics of questions from the dugout. And as always, have a great week and go Mariners.
It's kind of a sad ending. Go Mariners.
Okay, you're coming, pass it, pass.